Hey guys, I'm Tyler Kopstock and welcome to my channel. I represent Frontline Academy and I'm a student under Eduardo Teta Rios. I'm a full-time Jiu-Jitsu athlete and instructor, and I created this page to share my techniques, training, and Jiu-Jitsu journey with you. Feel free to like and subscribe, and welcome to the family. Us. Hey guys, welcome to another week here at the beginner's course, and today we're going to do something special. We're going to do the 50-50 position. And this is a position that I feel is perhaps more intermediate level, but because we see it more and more in today's, lower level jiu-jitsu players and athletes. So even in white belt, you get into this position quite a bit. And that's why I see it's highly relevant to actually learn these techniques, even though it's not as basic as some would say, right? So there's a couple of details here to the 50-50. And the 50-50 position itself kind of explains itself by saying that it's the same chances for both of us because we are in the same position, right? But there are some key details that will make you think about it as a different thing, right? So as you can see, our legs are crossed here on the top, but our bottom legs are also fighting another war here underneath. And as you will see, he is trying to bring this foot in behind his butt cheek here, right? And I'm trying to do the same thing. So it's kind of like a footsies under the table here. I want to control this side here. This will allow me to come to the top position easily. While if he is managing to control the angle here and get his foot behind, it's going to be harder for me to get it and easier for him to come over to this side. Getting further to the point where he wants to tip me over to this side, but I want to tip him over to the other side, okay? Of course, it kind of depends on who is on bottom and who is on top, but those tactical things, they will come later on anyhow, right? So talking about the position here, I want to be gripping his pants here. So when I grip the pants, I can help turning his knee to the direction that I want it to go to, right? At the same time, I'm also using my leg on top of that to keep turning his knee this way, okay? So even though, let's say, Christian sweeps me back, boom, here, so we're gonna turn to the camera. So even though he's pushing me this way, I'm always constantly fighting to push the other way here, okay? So I'm using both my hand and my leg to turn this way, okay? Of course, it's gonna be a war, especially if he's fighting and getting this leg behind here, but I can always start going for the sweep. So that gets to the next point here. So how do I sweep Christian here? And a lot of people, when they try to sweep from 50-50, they try to lock the legs here. The problem with this is, one, you're kind of vulnerable for some toe holds later on, but this is not going to be giving you enough power to tip the guy over. So to create power and to be able to push Christian's, what is going to be, left hip to the floor, right hip, to the floor, I want to be stepping on top of my foot here, okay? So I'm going to be stepping on the foot, and I'm going to use that foot to stomp towards the floor here, okay? At the same time, I'm using this hand and this knee to twist and tip him over to the side. As soon as I feel the momentum, I'm going to bring this left leg behind and control this position, right? Very common when I'm trying to come up, you try to come up straight towards the person. This is going to make it really hard, and it's going to enable him to actually go for the sweep back. Okay, so that's a mistake. So when I'm coming up, I got the sweep. I want to make sure that I'm always looking slightly to the side here. So when I'm coming up, I'm coming up sideways. Okay, this way, if Christian is still trying to sweep me back, I have a good base and I can stay on top here. Okay, of course, there's a lot of things you have to be careful with. Like if this foot comes behind here, he's gonna go for a back take. So you have to be careful with this hook here as well. So try to stay tight and stay closed with your hand and your knee here, okay? So that's it for this one. Here, let's say he's on top, maybe he's even further. He might be standing as well. Same scenario. I want to be stepping on my foot, lift my hip up, stomp towards the floor, and there we go, okay? Bring that leg behind, turning slightly to the side here, and come up to the top position, right? Of course, later on, we will learn some ways to get out from this position. Okay guys, so we're gonna go a little bit further here. Once I've swept Christian and I know he's gonna try to sweep me back, I will use his momentum so that I can actually get my leg across his upper body and release it from the 50-50 position. So this is kind of like an action-reaction movement, and you have to kind of time it. Of course, there are ways to do it more, how should I say, forcingly. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make sure that this foot here is free so that I can pass it across his body and hide my heel behind his butt on the other side here, okay? As soon as I got my heel there, I want to come up and end up in this sort of leg drag position, but with my leg slightly trapped underneath his bottom thigh here, okay? But that we're gonna deal with later. So to find the timing where I can pass this leg over, I have to feel that Christian is stretching his hips here. So he's really trying to push me back into the bottom position. When this happens, and of course, this leg is free, because if he was grabbing like a foot lock, that kind of option is gone, right? So then I won't be going for this, okay? But now he's working by pushing my hips away. So I'm gonna time it and kick up and chop the leg, okay? Come down over to this side and end up in this position here, okay? Most likely my leg is underneath here. As long as I can hide my heel, it's all good. If my heel is still forward here, then I'll most likely can be able to bring it back into a 50-50 or maybe some other kind of scramble. So, into the middle. So I'm timing it. Let's say I swept him and I came up on top. Christian is gonna sweep me back. I'm gonna try to chop my leg over to the other side. And now I'm gonna fight for the position here. One more time. Whoop. So here, coming up on top, he pushes back. And I throw my leg over, okay? Once I'm here, I'm looking for a deep crossface with this arm here, okay? Boom, nice and easy. From this position here, I just want to sprawl on top of Christian, especially if I can feel that he's crossing his legs. He's making it hard for me to get this leg out. So here, I'm gonna stretch, unlock his legs so I can get this foot free and hook the back of his bottom thigh, okay? This way, I'm ending up in the leg drag position and I can easily continue into the pass, right? Let's do one more time here. Maybe from this side so people can see. So I came up, he pushes back, chop, come up on top, okay? Try to get a deep, nice, I should say crossface here. Sprawl, leg out. You can start going for the side control. So this is a pretty basic way of getting your leg out. Of course, sometimes it's not going to be an option if you're still holding your leg like a footlock kind of grip. But then there's different scenarios for that. Well, hope you guys liked it. And as always, please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, welcome to another week here at the beginner's course. And today we're going to do something special. We're going to go through the 50-50 position. Now, this is a position that is maybe seen as an intermediate kind of position, but I feel it's very relevant because it's a position that a lot of beginners come into and are kind of clueless, and therefore it's the best thing we can give them is a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of techniques that they can work with when they end up there, right? So we're going to go through some of the small details here. And the thing about the 50-50 is it's quite self-explanatory in a way that it's a scenario where it's either 50% chance he gets something or 50% chance I get something, right? But there are some things that we always want to keep in mind. Now, one thing is the angle of the position, right? Whether he's leaning to this side or I'm leaning to the other side. Now, in a scenario kind of like IBJJF, depending on the rule set, I always want to end up here and start working on this side, okay? Also, underneath this entanglement, you'll see a little fight right here. So there's kind of like a footsies fight underneath the table here, where I want to make sure that I'm getting my leg inside so that I can use this leg to keep myself on the top position, right? If the opposite happens and he gets his foot inside, then most likely it's much more of a war where he will kind of dominate and get me over to this side, okay? So I always want to make sure that I'm getting this leg in and I'm facing to the side, okay? This is a very common problem or common mistake that beginners do, is that they try to stand up in towards the person. But what happens now, it's super easy for him to tip me over to the side here, okay? So we're gonna go through a very basic sweep here when Christian is on top. And so what I'm gonna do here, or not do first, is never like try to lock your leg here into a triangle. Instead, try to step on your foot here. This is gonna generate a lot more power and you're gonna be able to stomp your feet to the floor here, okay? So doing this and making sure that my arm is always pushing his knee outwards here, okay? Including that, I'm gonna be helping with this knee inside, so I'm trying to turn it outwards at the same time, okay? So if Christian is coming up here towards me, I'm always trying to work the other way, okay? So I'm stomping, bringing my hip up, and now I can come up, okay? So to come up, I'm bringing this leg behind his butt here and making sure I'm always facing towards you guys and not towards Christian. So now I'm gonna turn my knees to the floor and come up in towards him, okay? Get those points or whatever, and I can start working some different techniques. Of course, we'll get into that later. But here, foot on foot, controlling, step, and then coming up on the side here, okay? Of course, always fighting for the fight underneath here and turning to the side, and then it will be a lot easier to come up, okay? Okay guys, so we're gonna go a little bit further here in a scenario where Christian is bumping me back and I'm gonna try to free my leg over across his body. So what you'll have to see here, it's slightly a timing technique where I have to also read the scenario beforehand. If he's grabbing my foot like this, then my leg is not free, and then it's gonna be really hard to do the technique that I'm showing you guys now. So this is in scenarios where he's grabbing my knee, trying to cup it, maybe trying to push it a little bit to the side there so I can time it more, okay? So I came up all the way here, and what happens and what will likely happen is that he's trying to sweep me back all the way down, okay? But this time I came prepared, and as soon as he's stretching his hips out and pushing his heels to the floor here, I'm gonna bring my foot up all the way up and kick it over to the other side here, okay? What I'm trying to do here is bring my heel behind his thigh and fall on top of it, okay? This way I end up in a leg drag kind of scenario here, but with my leg stuck underneath his bottom thigh. That's fine though, I can still work my way out from this position. So I came up and I'm feeling that Christian is pushing back. I'm gonna time it, bring my foot up, and chop to the other side. Of course, I'm leaning over to this side here and trying to bring myself tightly to Christian here on the other side. So once you're here, you want to make sure that you're cross-facing here, okay? Get tight, and I'm gonna sprawl on top of Christian. This is typically when the guy is locking his legs and trapping my leg here, so it's really hard for me to just get it out. So I have to sprawl. He opens his legs up, and now I can hook the other thigh here and end up in a nice leg drag position, and I can start working into the side control, okay? So let's do the 50-50 on this side. So here I came up, and as soon as I feel that Christian is pushing back, I'm chopping my leg over, okay? Coming closer, I wanna land on this side, cross face, sprawl, foot out, and now proceed to pass. Okay, so it does require a little bit of timing, and you have to feel when the guy is opening his hips up, right? If the guy is all crunched up, it's most likely gonna be really hard to pass your leg over. But as soon as they're pushing and straightening their hips out, that's when there's a lot of space to pass the leg over, okay? Was. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Was. Åsa. Jag kan byta.